Good morning once again. Um, this is our research class being led by Dr. Stewart Hevi. And today we are going to look at one of the most pressing issues in research. Now, I get a lot of calls, especially from my students and even people across the globe, on assistance of that sort on how to come out with a researchable topic. Now, it will interest you to note that as primary or as basic or as fundamental as it is in crafting a research topic, it is also very extremely difficult. What to write on is always difficult to come out with. Now, as I call myself the son of F.W. Taylor, uh, the father of scientific management. So what I usually do is that I try to uh, put every social or behavioral issue or social science research, anything of that sort, into a scientific way where it is easier to do. Now, I have come up with what we call, I call uh, heavy, heavy research topic quadrant. Okay, heavy research topic quadrant. And then permit me to share this quadrant with you quickly. And that is what we are going to use today to carve out our research topic. Yes, as you can see, quadrant is made up of 4 windows. So when you look at this, we have the low, low, the high, high, and all that with all this. So when you look at the vertical axis, for instance, you see low and high. And then when you also want to look at the horizontal axis, you also see low and high. Now, what are we looking at? What is the quadrant supposed to teach us? I have looked at 2 ways of picking a research topic, and one of them is to look at what we call the global appeal of your research topic. How relevant is your topic uh, in how relevant is your topic when you are making reference to the entire globe? So it is, you don't think always about what is happening in your country, but you must also look at it from the perspective of what the whole international community is discussing. Otherwise, you may not go far with your topic. Another issue is also what I call the local issue of research interest. So you see that on the horizontal axis, I have local issue of research interest stated there. Now, it is a matching concept where you will need to look at the local issue of research interest and match it with what is being discussed on the global stage of a particular issue that you are interested in. Now, the quadrant simply is giving you 2 sides of it, the low and the high. So when you talk about the local issue of research interest, we have a low and a high, as you can see on the horizontal axis. And then also when it comes to the global research appeal, we also have the low and the high, and you are supposed to use both. So let's go right into the details. Now, you will see clearly that in our first box here, we have low, low, which means that global research appeal is low, and also the local issue of interest is also low. In such a case, what then happens? What it tells us is that this should be considered as not worthy of academic exploration or investigation. So if you are choosing a topic that you know that, number one, within the confines of your geographical area, this topic is not usually a big issue. It's not a big deal. It's something that is not worth it's not worth the time of scientific inquiry. Then you should understand that this is not going to go far. Similarly, when you weigh that same topic on the global scale of what people are discussing, then on the global, people are discussing on the global stage, and this topic also does not match that appeal, then please just let it go. Just let it go. It's not going to make any worthwhile contribution to whatever journey you want to go. Then we also have one that I term as the local issue of interest is high. However, the global appeal is low. The local interest is high. However, the global appeal is low. So we have low global appeal and high local issue of interest. Now, this may better serve as a good academic piece for a project work at the first degree level or a dissertation, maybe an MBA. However, this may not be worthy of scholarly publication. This may not go too far when you want to go into scholarly publication. So this is where a particular issue is very important within your geographical space. However, that is not something that is being discussed worldwide. For instance, a friend of mine called me the other day and told me that in Ghana, potholes are really causing accidents. Hence, we should write an article on issues that relate to potholes, and then how it affects accidents, how it affects people, drivers and all that, in terms of the accident ratio and the statistics and all that. And I told him that yes, it is true that this is a very relevant issue in Ghana. However, this issue on the international stage will not make the cut. Will not make the cut because we have decided to be at the back bench. So the world is not going to be discussing something that could have been solved in the 1960s. So this will not work. It will not wash. But in terms of our project works and all that, yes, it is true. This can work. Okay. Then another one is where we have the high global appeal, but the issue in your local research, in terms of local issue of research interest, it is pretty low. So we have high global appeal, however, have low local issue of interest. So this is how I coined it. I stated that despite a good area of scientific inquiry, it may not be either applicable or suitable for the research context. A number of reasons may account for this. One, there could be cultural variation. For instance, you could go into articles or research and find out that they are discussing a particular issue that is very important to the academic world. However, in our country, we have not gotten to that stage yet. So if you are choosing such a topic to write your thesis, it may not really make so much sense to your supervisors. So you need to look at it from that. However, if you are going to the publication of an article, knowing very well that this is what is being discussed on the global stage, yes, then you can go for it. So it could be cultural variations, it could be specific geographical issues, and even sometimes it could even be legal issues. So that is another area. Okay. Now let us look at the ideal situation. Let us look at the ideal situation. The ideal situation is where the local issue of research interest is high, and also the global appeal or the global research appeal is also high. High global appeal, high local issue of interest. And this is where actually you should be looking at. Always subject your topics to this litmus test, and this should be able to give you a clear path to be able to move on. This is how I coin it. This is the ideal situation. The research topic of interest must be an indigenous challenge or a problem warranting attention Further, the topic must be a major issue of discussion in global research in contemporary times. So I even gave an example. Okay, for example, you see, when you talk about small scale mining, it is a major issue in Ghana, for instance. It's a very big issue in Ghana. Then when you also go to the global stage, you realize that the newest thing that academics or researchers are discussing in terms of entrepreneurship, for instance, is what we call the responsible entrepreneurship. Okay, responsible entrepreneur. That is what most entrepreneurial and organizational research literature is discussing. Okay, so when you pick such a topic, you would understand that this is a topic that you can equally use for your thesis writing, your dissertation writing, and this is also a good topic that you can also equally go into what we call article writing, publishing in a scholarly journal. Okay, so this is the ideal situation. You must be able to test these things. Okay, so this is what I put out together, and I call it Hevi's research topic quadrant: global appeal, local issue, metrics. And then this is what I have for you. Please refer to this, and I believe strongly that your research topic will be viable. Your supervisors will believe that you have the requisite knowledge to be able to do your thesis or dissertation, or even to publish a scholarly journal. I'll end it today. My next video will give you how you should be able to match your topics to see whether they actually meet the global appeal, and also equally also be able to check whether it is an issue of local interest within your geographical space. Thank you very much for your time, and then look forward to my next video. But don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.